Let me ask you something that may sound simple, but could be more important than you realize. When you wake up in the morning, is your mouth so dry that your tongue feels almost stuck to the roof of your mouth? Maybe you reach for the glass of water beside your bed, take a few big sips, feel better for a moment, and then the dryness quickly returns. If that sounds familiar, you may have been treating the symptom without asking why it keeps happening. And that matters, especially as we get older, because persistent dry mouth can have many possible explanations, including medications, nighttime mouth breathing, dehydration, blood sugar problems, and other health issues. So today, I want to show you 4 patterns you should pay attention to, what they may be connected with, and what you can discuss with your doctor or a pharmacist. First, understand this. Saliva is much more than water. It helps protect your teeth and gums, supports digestion, keeps tissues comfortable, and contributes to your mouth's natural defenses. Your mouth also contains bacteria that participate in the body's nitrate to nitrite pathway, which is connected to nitric oxide and blood vessel function. Research has shown that disrupting certain oral bacteria can affect this pathway and can influence blood pressure, although that does not mean dry mouth automatically causes high blood pressure. The important point is that your mouth is part of a much larger system, so persistent dryness deserves attention rather than being automatically dismissed as just aging. Now, let's look at the first signal, dry mouth alongside changes in blood pressure. If you've noticed that your mouth has become consistently dry while your blood pressure has also become harder to control, mention both symptoms during your next appointment. There may be completely separate reasons for each one, but the connection between oral health, oral bacteria, nitric oxide, and cardiovascular function is worth discussing. The second signal involves your immune defenses. Saliva contains antibodies and other protective substances that help defend the mouth and upper airways. When saliva production is reduced, the protective environment can change. So if you've noticed persistent dryness together with frequent mouth irritation, difficulty swallowing dry foods, more dental problems, or a tendency to feel that your mouth and throat are constantly uncomfortable, don't simply keep drinking more water and hope it disappears. Tell your dentist or physician exactly how long it has been happening. The third signal is one you should especially notice if several symptoms appear together: dry mouth, unusual thirst, and waking repeatedly during the night to urinate. Any one of these symptoms can have many explanations, but together they can be a reason to discuss blood sugar testing with your doctor. Elevated blood glucose can increase urination and fluid loss, which may contribute to thirst and dryness. If this pattern sounds familiar, ask whether an HbA1c test or another appropriate glucose test makes sense for you. Don't diagnose yourself from symptoms alone, but don't ignore a pattern that keeps repeating either. The fourth signal has to do with what happens while you're sleeping. If your mouth is dramatically driest immediately after waking and gradually improves once you're up, drinking, eating, and moving around, nighttime mouth breathing could be playing a role. Mouth breathing can happen for many reasons, including nasal congestion and sleep-related breathing problems. If you also snore loudly, wake up feeling unrefreshed, experience morning headaches, or someone has noticed pauses in your breathing during sleep, speak with your doctor about whether sleep apnea should be evaluated. Sleep apnea is not simply an inconvenience. Untreated sleep apnea can be associated with high blood pressure and other cardiovascular and metabolic concerns. Now, here's another major piece that many people overlook: your medicine cabinet. Dry mouth is a recognized side effect of a large number of medications, and older adults are more likely to take several medicines at the same time. Blood pressure drugs, antihistamines, antidepressants, diuretics, bladder medications, sleep medications, and other drugs can sometimes contribute to reduced saliva. There is also a group of medicines with anticholinergic effects that can reduce the signals responsible for saliva production. The important thing is not to look at one medication and immediately blame it. The combined effect of several medicines can matter. So here's a practical step you can take. Make a complete list of everything you take, including prescriptions, over-the-counter medicines, vitamins and supplements, and ask your doctor or pharmacist to review whether any of them could be contributing to your dry mouth. And please do not stop or change a prescribed medication on your own. The goal is professional medication review, not self-treatment. There are also some simple habits that may help support oral comfort. Staying adequately hydrated throughout the day is important, but if water only provides temporary relief, don't assume that drinking endless amounts is the solution. Sugar-free gum or lozenges can stimulate saliva, and products containing xylitol may be useful for some people because xylitol can help reduce cavity-causing bacteria. If you use these products, follow the label directions, and remember that xylitol can be dangerous to dogs, so keep it completely away from pets. You can also pay attention to your bedroom environment. If the air is very dry, a humidifier may improve comfort for some people, but it should be cleaned properly and maintained according to the manufacturer's instructions. Oral hygiene becomes especially important when saliva is reduced because saliva normally helps protect teeth from acids and supports the mouth's natural cleaning process. Brush your teeth regularly with fluoride toothpaste, clean between your teeth, and keep your tongue clean without aggressively scraping it. If standard mouthwash seems to make the dryness worse, ask your dentist whether an alcohol-free product designed for dry mouth would be more appropriate. Another important warning sign is dry mouth combined with persistently dry or gritty eyes. That combination can sometimes occur with Sjogren's syndrome, an autoimmune condition that affects moisture-producing glands. It is not the only possible explanation, but if both symptoms are persistent, mention them to your doctor or dentist so they can decide whether further evaluation is appropriate. Similarly, if you notice a persistent unusual taste, difficulty swallowing, mouth sores that don't heal, unexplained weight loss, or significant changes in your oral health, don't simply cover up the symptom with water or mints. Get it checked. And remember, there is no single dry mouth test you can perform at home that can diagnose the cause. You may see online tricks claiming that tongue sticking, lip tests, or other simple observations can tell you exactly how much saliva you produce, but these are not substitutes for a proper clinical assessment. Instead, use your mornings as a tracking opportunity. For 1 week, notice how severe the dryness is when you wake up, whether you slept with your mouth open, whether you snored, how many times you woke to urinate, whether you felt unusually thirsty, and whether the dryness improves during the morning. Write those observations down. That information can make your conversation with a healthcare professional much more useful. And there is one final lesson I want you to remember. Don't let anyone, including yourself, automatically blame every new symptom on getting older. Aging can change the body, but persistent symptoms still deserve an explanation. Your dry mouth might be caused by something simple, such as medication or a dry sleeping environment. It might be related to nighttime breathing. It could be connected to oral health or another underlying condition. The point isn't to become frightened by a dry mouth. The point is to become curious about a persistent change in your body and know when to ask for help. So tonight, before you go to bed, put a simple note beside your water glass, and tomorrow morning write down exactly how your mouth feels when you wake up. Then look for the patterns we discussed. Morning-only dryness, dryness with thirst and frequent urination, dryness with snoring or unrefreshing sleep, or dryness together with persistent eye or mouth symptoms. If any of these patterns sound familiar, bring the information to your doctor, dentist, or pharmacist. If this video helped you understand something you had been ignoring, share it with someone who regularly wakes up with a dry mouth. And if you want more practical health information explained in a simple way, subscribe and stay with us for the next video. Most importantly, don't just reach for another sip of water and forget about it. Sometimes the symptom isn't the whole story. Sometimes it is simply your body's way of telling you to look a little closer.